Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little different. Recently, I purchased a book titled Draw the Story. It provides prompts for both writing and drawing, so I decided to make a series on the channel where I write the story and draw. This will be the first episode in the series, and I'll be sure to include the prompt at the end, that way you can try it yourself. The first prompt is Brother from Another Species. I hope you enjoy! The hot summer sun tingled on the skin of a young girl as she lay down in the prickly grass of the backyard. Her soft blonde hair rested between the blades of grass like snakes, winding a path up to the nest on her head. She wore a thin strapped white tank top undershirt, patterned with baby blue daisy flowers and pink shorts. She looked down past her toes, sloppily painted with glittery hot pink nail polish, to the kitchen window of her house. "It's not that hard, Ethan," her mother yelled, while a loud metallic bang of an object hitting the bottom of the sink flew from the home. "It's her birthday, for Christ's sakes, Janine. I just got caught up at work," her father replied. "Oh yeah, well you go out there and tell her that then, because I'm done. Learn how to be a better husband." The young girl's hazel eyes followed her mother storming out of the house through the back door. A larger man with gray-browning hair chased after her. The young girl turned her head back to the clouds flying in the sky. A longing grew in her as she looked up. She allowed her mind to be lost in her thoughts as the roar of the car engine sounded, leaving the driveway and speeding off. Ethan sighed, watching as the car drove off into the heat. Then he turned to the backyard. He walked over and sat next to the young child, and they stayed silent for a moment. "Do you think she'll come back?" the young girl asked, looking over to her father. He sighed. "Addison," the dad paused, looking at her face. "How about we go somewhere fun for your birthday?" he asked. The girl sat up, shaking bits of grass from her hair. "Where?" she asked. Her father furrowed his brow overdramatically to get a silly reaction from the girl, but she simply stared at him blankly. He raised one of his eyebrows. "Have you ever seen a giraffe?" he asked. "A giraffe?" Addison tilted her head slightly. Ethan smiled and pulled her up from the grass. "Let's get ready," he said cheerfully. They walked up to the gates of the zoo. Adventurous music poured from the speakers above. "2 tickets, please," Ethan said proudly as Addison scanned the new area. "That'll be $35, the attendant spoke lazily. Ethan pulled out his wallet from his pocket, with a few coins pinging onto the concrete below as they slipped from the folds. The ticket attendant raised a brow at Ethan as he began unfolding the dollars stuffed between old gift cards and discount punch cards. Why don't you look at the map, sweetie?" Ethan said, motioning to a large pillar nearby. Addison gazed upon the dusty plastic information guide of the zoo. Underneath the sign, attached to the wooden post, were individual pamphlets. She took one of the folded papers, and on the cover was a large beast standing proudly on top of a rock, mane blowing in the wind. Underneath the photo was text that read, "Come see the King of the Jungle, new exhibit." The longing inside her transformed into a fire as she stared into the fearless eyes of this unknown beast. Ethan turned to look at Addison and back at the prices on the board. Sheepishly, he said, "It's her birthday. Is there some sort of discount we can get?" "The tickets are $35, the attendant repeated, looking down at the screen. "There are no discounts for entry at this time." "Sorry." Ethan's shoulders slumped. He patted his pockets for any more spare change before remembering something. He pulled off his shoe and lifted the worn-out soles, revealing a spare $20 bill. He handed it over to the attendant and got their tickets. "Hey, little girl," the attendant called over. Addison turned to face the booth. "One of the animals told me a secret," the attendant said slyly, winking at Ethan. "They told me it was your birthday today." Addison nodded her head in confirmation. The attendant reached below the counter and pulled out a bucket of multicolored pins labeled "Happy Birthday." "Can I have one?" Addison asked in awe at the seeming unlimited options put in front of her. The attendant nodded, and she scored the bucket of animals: penguins, birds, monkeys, lizards, and bugs. As she searched through the bucket, the attendant slid 2 paper coupons over to Ethan. He looked at them, and they read, "Free birthday ice cream." He gave a soft smile to the attendant. Addison gasped when she found the pin she was looking for. Ah, a lion. Our newest exhibit. A fearsome beast for a fearsome little lady, the attendant joked. Have fun, he said as they waved goodbye, and Addison and her father entered the park. They walked around the zoo as Addison led the way with her map in hand. They stopped in front of the monkey enclosure. One of the animals was playing with a red ball, and the other was eating some leftover food from feeding time. Addison looked through the bars in the enclosure. It was different than the ones before. The entire space was surrounded by a metal cage. Why are they locked up? Addison asked. Well, they want to keep everyone safe, the monkeys and us, Ethan explained. Why would they hurt us? Addison asked. I don't think they want to hurt us. Ethan paused to think of the best way to explain such a concept to his daughter. Remember when you were learning to ride your bike and you fell and scraped your knee? He said. Addison looked up, turning her head to the side, her hair following. And when I tried to clean it, you yelled and scratched my arm. Yeah, Addison replied, looking down at her knees, the scars still visible on her skin. Well, sometimes animals can get scared too. Even if they don't mean to, when they're scared, they can hurt someone. So it's safer for everyone for them to stay in there, he explained. Addison looked back up at the now swinging monkeys. Sometimes I get scared, like when Mommy yells, Addison said softly. And I get angry because she yells at you or me for no reason. Addison's face had turned sour. Ethan slumped his shoulders. He knew the effects of Janine's behavior was beginning to affect Addison. In their current position, there wasn't much he could do to help, so he did the only thing he could think of, and kneeling down to the young girl's height. I know it's hard, but I want you to know that even if it can be scary sometimes, I would never let anything happen to you, okay? He said seriously. They stayed silent for a moment, letting his words sink in. Addison looked more lively as she felt the warm fire in her chest again. Why don't we go see the lion? Ethan said in a more happier tone, changing the attention away from such a gloomy subject. The pair walked over to the newest exhibit. Addison began growing more and more excited as they neared, surprising Ethan as she began hopping and tugging her father along. The lions in the den looked bored, as they were lounging around in their enclosure. One in particular, the lion posted on all the announcement posters with its voluptuous mane laid at the very back of the enclosure, watching as people pointed and passed by. Addison was nearing the barrier, looking for the best spot to see the animals. The lion lifted its head, noticing the bouncing blonde hair nearing the habitat. Addison laughed excitedly, seeing as the animal rised from its previously calm state, and suddenly the lion began running, dashing towards the edge of the enclosure. The lions reached the barrier before the zookeepers could catch up, but when he got there, he stopped and stood still as if transfixed. The little girl held her father's hand, unafraid and completely still. Each a caged beast in their own way, the lion and the little girl seemed to recognize something in each other. The father didn't interrupt, but moved his hand over her shoulder protectively. The zookeeper hadn't seen the cat behave that way before or since. Witnesses couldn't recall what attracted the lion to the little girl, but as the two faced each other, locking eyes from behind their respective railings, they swore they heard him purring. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I was a little nervous to post this video because I'm not too sure how it'll go. I'm not really used to reading my work aloud like this, but I hope you enjoy it. I would love to hear what you thought in the comments, and if you did try it out for yourself, please let me know. I have a Discord you can join and show me your stuff, or you can always just tag me on social media too. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe. It'll help out both me and the channel. And since this will be an ongoing series, each episode will have a different story and new drawing. Thank you again for watching. Oh, and before you leave, I wanted to mention that I did order those dinosaur slippers from the last video. They are super comfy and I love them. I'll link the shop in the description if you wanted to check it out, or any other slippers that they had. This isn't sponsored, a lot of people were just asking me where I got them from. Anyway, thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!